Samoyo, Owando Yesu, Owando Yesu, Owando Ate. Samoyo, Owando Yesu, Owando Yesu, Owando Ate. Yoshine wamba Yesu, Mumba Yoshine wamba Yesu.
On the 28th of August 1941, a male child was born into the family of Mr. and Mrs. Katsina-alu village. Alu is in Oshongo local government of Benue State. That child, who is the grandson of Aluko, was named Aloysius Iyoge. He later became known as Aloysius Iyoge Katsina-alu, the immediate past Chief Justice of Nigeria.
When we were growing up, I knew little about him because he was staying with a teacher somewhere at Tarangwa, where he started his primary school. Then I was a bit small. I was small then. So I didn't know much about him until 1968. Okay. That was when I could even discover who he was. I knew his face. I knew this was my brother. That was when I knew him as a brother. Because before 68, he was going here and there with some teachers.
We are born in this village, and this is the compound we born. Okay. He was born in 1941, and I was born in 1946. We are here.
The young Aloysius started his early education from RCM Primary School, Aduku, in January 1951, and in July same year, he moved to St. Anne's, Adipo. Between January and December 1952, he was in RCM Primary School, Turungwa.
Our parents were friends, great friends. And I would say brothers too, in the African sense. My village and his are just 2 kilometers apart, about 2 kilometers apart. And because of the friendship that existed at the parental level, it continued when I finally met Justice Alu. At that time, A.I Katsina-alu.
We were in primary school together. He was ahead of me, 2 years ahead of me in primary school. And we parted ways. The school had only standards 1 in those days.
He obtained his first school leaving certificate at St. Patrick's Primary School, Tarako, in 1955.
When we was growing up, even when I was a small girl, we were happy, and he had never touched me or abused me, even abuse of some boys used to abuse their sisters. We go to the farm and come back together. So when there was time they used to catch cricket, he would catch many cricket for me. Then I would carry it to come home. We never fought even a day up to this time.
In 1956, he was admitted into Mount St. Michael's Secondary School, Alede, as student number 109, and was in Mac's house throughout his course of study in the school. In 1961, he obtained the Cambridge School Certificate with flying colors. Apart from academics, Aloysius Katsina-alu also distinguished himself in sports. 2 of his schoolmates tell us more about life at St. Michael's.
Fortunately, we met again in secondary school. Around St. Michael's Secondary School, Aliade, which is my hometown. And then we all met there. He finished before me, and I finished 2 years after that.
He was a class ahead of me. All right, sir. But because we came from the same location, and our parents knew themselves, we never really knew ourselves at that time. We knew ourselves by names, because I went to school in St. John's Catholic Primary School in Boko. His father sent him to a Catholic secondary school in Taraku. next door to Trukbu. So we hardly met even during the holidays, but finally we met in Aliade, and it was a great meeting.
And what we used to like in him, if you do anything wrong, he does not report you. He will give you his punishment, and that's it. You don't go anywhere, you remain with him and the three. We used to call them the three groups.
It was so much fun. You played football together, you ate together, you worked together, you sang together, you played together. For example, Alai was known for table tennis. And he played cricket too. When he played football, he must be center forward.
Did he score goals?
He did.
Is there any name that everybody in school actually called him?
Yes.
Okay, what name, sir?
Charming shots, because he played table tennis.
Okay.
And he played it extremely well.
Okay.
If he hit the ball, you couldn't get it.
All right, sir. He enrolled in the Nigerian Military Training School, Kaduna, in April 1962.
You know, the Nigerian Military Training College is now renamed NDA, Nigerian Defense Academy. Yeah. You were there, you know, course 5 of the Nigerian Military Training College. We were all there together as officer cadets. And we all sort of went through the military training. That was how we met. He was a very close friend of mine. We were in the same course. And so we knew ourselves. Each time we went out on drills or parades, we were together. Throughout that year, 1962, we were together in Kaduna. We did physical exercises together. We went out on field craft together, obstacle crossing, climbing the 9-foot, you know, soldiers used to climb the 9-foot wall, and then going over obstacles like rivers using the rope. We were always together. And both of us used to perform very well.
Right.
Very well.
Right.
But I can remember very well. The greatest incident that we had, you know, I came across was when we were trying to cross the Kaduna River using this rope over there. It was terrible for me and for him.
How do you mean terrible, sir?
Terrible in the sense that you see right down there is water, and we know that there were crocodiles there. But for you up there, you sort of hang on a rope to go across. If you made a mistake and fell into that water, of course, you know what that meant. Crocodiles will take care of you.
He thereafter went for further training at the Mons Military Training College, Aldershot in England, and was there from November 1962 to January 1963.
We were taken abroad. We sent abroad for further training. And we all went and registered, you know, with the Mons Officer Cadet School, Aldershot, Hans in England. We all went in there to train as officer cadets. We trained there. It was winter actually when we went into London, into England. It was a winter season. It was very cold. But despite that, we were subjected to physical exercises, running around, you know, that sort of, all of us. And we did it very well. He was good. But he never overtook me. At times he tried to overtake me. I overtake him at times. And we used to compete, you know, shining our shoes and the belts, using quite this thing, what do you call it? Polish, to make sure that we either came out first or he should come out first.
There are many versions of what led to his early exit from the military.
There was a day he wasn't feeling well, and they had to march somewhere. So he wasn't in attendance. So the commander sent for him. When he came, he told the commander that he's not feeling well. So the commander said he has to march. And you know, he's a very stubborn man, just like I am. So he told the commander, if the commander wants him to march, the commander must carry him on his head. That is the commander said. The commander has to carry him before he will march. And the commander could not believe this statement coming from a from a subordinate. And after a while, he heard that he was transferred to Nigeria. When he got to Nigeria, they told him they never sent for his transfer. So they just dismissed him.
I think he went off for something and he came back late. And instead of trying to speak to him wisely, they were very rude. Very, very rude. We just told him, keep it. That's all. Just said, keep it. And that was it.
He is a very deeply religious person. Very deeply religious person. He believes that God created all of us equal. He believes in justice for all, whether for women, for men, children, same justice. Justice for all. With that kind of background, and from what we knew of him in the school, I think it is natural that he opted for law. Because the military at that time wanted very bright children, very bright young people into the army. And Ali scored first class, Division 1. So they took him. But I think his natural instinct was for justice. He said it in school, and he lived it, he practiced it.
I can't give details as to why he came back to Nigeria. But I know fully well that we ran through, went through the course, and we were getting very close to the time that we were to be commissioned as officers into the Nigerian army. Somehow he was called back to Nigeria. And I think it must be his attempt to resist insults from, the drill sergeant.
I see.
Yes, and it's one of the issues that I very much admire him for. Because you see, you go in there to train as an army officer. That does not mean that you should be subjected to, all sorts of indignities. And I think that was one of the problems. He was given an order, and that order, as far as I'm concerned, if it was given to me, I would have disobeyed. He disobeyed.
Okay.
And so he came back to Nigeria.
I see.
If I were in his shoes, I would have done the same thing.
He settled for the legal profession and got admission to read law at the prestigious Ahmadu Bello University Zaria in August 1963. He was at the law faculty till October 1964 and thereafter traveled back to the United Kingdom for further studies in law. He was at the Inns of Court School of Law from October 1964 to 1967.
I first met Katsina-alu in 1966 when I came from Germany. I graduated as a journalist in Western Germany, and I was working in a Nigerian High Commission as Assistant Information Officer, locally recruited. They were students, because I used to intimidate them that they were students, because me, I was working as, I claimed that I'm an officer, so they should mind the way they talk to me. So we go around together most of the time, after mostly on the weekend, because they are always very busy. And himself, Wabili, Dahiru Mustafa, Umar Abdullahi. Those are the ones I can remember very closely. And then, of course, Alu Katsina, he was very close to Wabili and Dahiru Mustafa. So then we became very close. But I noticed Alu Katsina was very a kind of a reserved, quiet person. Himself and Umaru Abdullahi, They are very quiet among us. We are the people who make noise, you know, more especially Wabili and Dairu Mustafa. But Katsina was always on the quiet side, he and Umar Abdullah. But we have a lot of friends. But I noticed that was a special character of Katsina. He was very reserved, very humble, very nice, decent.
We met again in Lagos because I did my higher school in Lagos, Federal School of Science. It used to be called Emergency Science School. We met. He worked briefly and then went to work to school to do law in Lagos. We met there. I left him there after my A-levels to the UK. Incidentally, when he came to do his final stages of his profession, I was then in London, and we met again. And we were there for about 2 years or thereabout. And I was there till today. And then, fortunately, I had a function for him with a friend in our apartment, and that is where he met his first wife, the American.
We met in the university, that is the Ahmadu Bello University. When it, even at that time, it was a new university. That was in 1964. We were a class. We have so many students inside, like Dayo Mustafa, myself, A.I Katsina-alu, and many others. So we met together at that time, and we were in the same class.